Yay. Congrats, Major League Baseball, for becoming less interesting thanks to this new universal designated hitter rule. I hate it so much. I think it's a terrible idea. And I have a lot to say about it, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys watching will disagree. Hopefully not leave too many nasty comments, but you do what you need to do. I can take it. And I'd imagine that a bunch of you guys watching might be wondering why I even feel this way, right? Because I'm known as the guy who catches home runs, so wouldn't it be better for me to get rid of all those wimpy hitting pitchers and replace them with sluggers who can launch the ball 500 feet? Yeah. Selfishly, as a collector and a YouTuber, this new universal DH rule will be better for me. I will catch more home runs as a result, and my videos will be more exciting as a result. They'll get more views, I'll get more subscribers, I'll earn more money, and you know what? I don't want it. Because as a baseball fan, and as someone who appreciates strategy and nuance, and the opportunity, rare as it might be, to see something totally unexpected and wacky and hilarious, I hate this rule. Way back when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I went away for a weekend with my parents. They were visiting their friends. And at one point, I heard my dad and his friend screaming with excitement from the next room. So I ran in there to see what was going on. And there was baseball on TV. And I learned later that Fernando Valenzuela had hit a home run. A pitcher had gone yard. And sure, he was talented as a hitter, but it was still unexpected. And that's why my dad and his friend were so excited, and that made me excited. And up until that point, being young, living in New York City, everything I knew about baseball was like playing in Central Park. So here I was for the first time seeing televised baseball, finally aware of this entity known as Major League Baseball. That helped make me a baseball fan. And sure, I probably would have become a fan anyway and still ended up being completely insane about it, but that moment really jumped out at me. A pitcher hitting. The Atlanta Braves, all right, have this promotion that everybody loves. It's called Beat the Freeze, where they have this Olympic level sprinter. They dress him up in a weird spandex suit. They have him race normal fans on the warning track. And they give these fans a head start. Some of these fans look like they can actually run pretty well, but the Freeze is so much better. And he almost always catches up and leaves them in the dust, literally at times. Wacky things happen. It can be so funny and entertaining, and everybody loves it. There was a TV show years ago called Pros vs. Joes. Same idea. They'd take some everyday schmuck and have him compete against world-class athletes. And it was so interesting. It helped put into perspective just how talented these pro athletes were. The difference in skill levels was astounding. And that's how I see it when pitchers hit against major league pitchers. And yet the pitchers themselves who are hitting are major leaguers. So it's extra interesting. Is there any other sport, I can't think of one, maybe you guys can, where a professional athlete is bad, very bad at his task consistently, and yet everybody accepts that? It's so interesting to me. When a team is getting blown out, often they'll bring in a position player, right, a non-pitcher, to eat up an inning or two, to save their pitcher's arms. And these position players can look really awkward at times, lobbing the ball in there, missing the strike zone. And yet it's so fun. Everybody loves it. Fans love it. The announcers love it. The players especially love it. The baseball community celebrates that. So why do we not enjoy pitchers hitting? Is it because we're so impatient that it's like, if we have to watch a guy strike out 10 times in a row, it's not worth it to see him get a hit? Or, you know, because some pitchers are so bad, they might bat 050 over the course of a season. So again, it's not worth it to see that little bit of success. Well, I think the 050 hitters are really interesting. We all imagine ourselves facing major league pitching, right? Like, how would I do if I had 600 at bats over the course of a season? Like, oh yeah, I could get a few hits for sure. No, you can't, because professional athletes, pitchers can't do it. And they're used to facing pitching in the high 90s and curveballs. They can't do it. What makes you think you could do it? So it's like I can imagine myself up there trying to live out my dream of playing Major League Baseball by watching sucky pitchers trying to do it. And then, you know, when there's a relief pitcher, a middle reliever, or the game goes into extra innings, and this guy has to eat up a bunch of innings and his turn in the batting order comes up, sometimes he'll have his first Major League plate appearance and look so awkward in the process. And his teammates love it. Again, it's hilarious. And occasionally, he gets a hit. It's like new stadiums being built with outfield walls that are too high for outfielders to jump up and rob home runs. Why intentionally build it that way? Why get rid of intentional walks? Right? It used to be that the catcher had to slide over and give an awkward target, and the pitcher would have to lob in 4 pitches. And most of the time, maybe 999 out of 1,000 pitches, okay, whatever. He threw it in there, nothing happened, next. But that 1 out of 1,000 times, weird stuff happened. There were wild pitches thrown on intentional walks. Runs would score in tight situations. And MLB felt the need to save 17 seconds per game getting rid of intentional walks. Look, don't get me started on all the rules and changes and things that I think are anti-fan and anti-fun. This could be a half-hour video if I talked about them all. The point is, pitchers hitting creates weird circumstances, and I really miss it. And then there's the whole strategic component, right? You know, you're the manager. Your pitcher is dealing, your starter. It's the 6th or 7th inning. Maybe he has another inning left in the tank, but his turn to bat is coming up, and your team really needs to score. What do? Do you leave your ace in there because you know he's going to put up goose eggs on the scoreboard? You know, but then he has to bat, or do you pull the guy for a pinch hitter? I love to see managers sweat. I think National League Baseball has been superior baseball because of all the strategy and the bunting and the replacing and swapping of players. You know, there's a lot of home runs that are hit. Several per game on average, sometimes more than 10 per game. Do we really need to see 11 home runs per game? And I get it. Scoring and offense and home runs, overall it's exciting. It attracts fans. Fans want to see scoring. You know, more scoring means more fans, more money for the owners. It's a healthier sport. But to me, home runs are not the most exciting thing. Triples are exciting. Double steals are exciting. The squeeze play is exciting. A guy bunting with a runner from third charging in. If the guy misses the bunt, the guy's tagged out. I want to see more of that, not more home runs. Even as the guy who catches home runs for a living. So, again, I understand why people would disagree, and you are welcome to. I'm not trying to change your minds. This rule is here to stay until or unless I become MLB commissioner someday. Can you imagine? And the players union, they're very strong. You know, they pushed for this. They want to get an extra high-paying slot on the roster, but to see some 40-year-old dude who can't run stick around in the majors because he's got tremendous power, no offense, Nelson Cruz, but I'm tired of you. I don't know. I love the two-way stars. You know, we'll still see Shohei pitch and hit, but what about guys like Michael Lorenzen? He's so talented at both. Maybe he'll still get the occasional pinch hit opportunity, but we are rewarding mediocrity. We are rewarding one-dimensional players. And I just think it's so cool when players can do it all. And when they can't, that's interesting as well. That's my point. I don't need to repeat myself any further. Anyway, thank you for listening. And I will just say that despite how much I hate this rule and other rules, my love of the sport is still stronger. Can you hear some sirens out in the window? Yeah, the cops are even mad about this. But look, I'll still be going to lots of games this year. I was spending an hour or two earlier today looking at the MLB schedule, planning out my April and May and figuring out where I'm going to go. I'll still be at it. I'm still going to do videos, pumping out content for you guys, but I just think it's going to be a little less fun. So yeah, leave a comment. Tell me if you agree. Tell me if you disagree. I am really curious to hear all perspectives on this. I'm practically losing my voice because I'm just so fired up about this whole thing. So anyway, that's that. Thanks for watching. I'm out.